All right, so, okay. My name is Lorraine Rodriguez. This is,
Guerrier.
right, and we are doing our presentation, a study on the class session preferences by age group of students at St. Pete College. We started off with our purpose statement being that SPC administrators conducted the survey because they'd like to understand why some students enroll for summer courses and others do not. Our hypothesis was that older students prefer in-person on-campus class sessions, and that then made the null hypothesis that there's no relationship between age and class preference. I think Trevor can explain this.
So we broke down we pulled the data from the data set that was originally sent to us, and we used question 3 and question 4 to formulate this table. Question 3 gave us a question, how old are you? And question 3 and question 4. Question 3 gave us the question for which of the following describes you. So based on those responses, we compilated it into a chart. We had 262 participants, but some of the answers were removed because they responded with others, or we had a blank response. So for the which one describes you best, we had 4 possible answers. I take some of my classes on SPC campus and some online through SPC. I take all my classes on SPC campus, or I take all my classes online through SPC. The last option was other, and in each group, the answers were bracketed from 18 to 22, 31 to 40, age 23 and 30, 41 and up, and under 17. You can move on to the next slide. We further broke that down to just 2 groups for the observation of our survey and to be able to conduct the chi-square test. We took every student age 30 and under and grouped them, and we took students 31 and up and grouped them. Their responses gave us these observations. Some students had a previous exposure, or they had a preference for online classes depending on their responses. We computed it as 77 for age 30 and under, 31 is 107 for online classes. And for in-person courses, it was 14 for age 30 and under, and 59 for age 59 for age 31 and up. There's a description. Like I said, we had 262 responses, but we found that only 257 of them gave us the viable information that we needed to conduct our survey and further our chi-squared. When we did everything we needed to, we formulated everything, we came out to a chi-square value of 11.74, with the degrees of freedom being 1. Our p-value answer was 0.0061. Because our p-value was less than 0.05, we rejected the null hypothesis and accepted the alternative, which suggests a relationship between age and class preferences. This is the results right here. The chi-square value was 11.74, degrees of freedom of 1, p-value 0.000. We rejected the null hypothesis and accepted the alternative, which suggests there's a relationship between age and class preference.
Okay, so we picked a couple of threats to validity. We had selection bias because the initial survey was sent to just a small sample really of the SPC population. So it went out to 3,094 students out of over 18,000 students that attend SPC. And then to kind of limit the selection even further, it only went out to students that were registered for an ethics course at the time. So we think that really could have threatened the validity of the survey, simply because it doesn't represent, it's not a representation of the entire population. Maturation was also an issue because there was quite a bit of time between the emails that were sent. So the survey was sent at one point, and then it was about 2 weeks between each email, each reminder email. And so it just results in too much time where people may just not even be thinking about the survey at that point. We had some recommendations to make the selection process more randomized, more of a random selection process. So again, back to touch on the population and the sample. It's 18 that there were 18,000 students, and only 3,000 students that actually received the survey. So if we made it a random process, not just ethics students, not just those 3,000 students, then it may yield a more average, a better result in the end. We wanted more in-depth questions on the survey, just kind of questions that were geared more towards finding out why students didn't select to take courses in the summer, or why they selected specific class sessions. And I guess kind of like what about a professor, if not their reputation and so on, would make a student not select to attend classes in the summer. And also another recommendation, like we said before, was a shorter time frame between survey response reminders. So in summary, I don't know if Gerber wants to go through this or I can, it doesn't matter. For the group for age 30 and under, 64% of students showed a preference for online classes, while 36% took either hybrid or in-person courses. For age group age 31 and up, 85% of the survey responses showed a preference for online courses over any other option. And so although there were less student responses in the 31 and up group, a larger percentage of students showed a preference for in-person classes. You want to take over the conclusion?
Conclusion: more questions are required to gain a better understanding of the entire student body. As she stated, there was a potential of 18,000, 1,800 or
I think
18,000.
it's 18,000.
18,000 student participations. We only got 300 responses. And from there, we had to tailor it down to 257. So the sample doesn't represent the population. However, based on the information gathered, 73% of the students surveyed preferred online classes compared to on-campus classes, independent of their age groups.
All right, so that is our presentation. I will stop sharing again.